अर्थये नित्यम् विद्यादानं च देहि मे। या श्रद्धा धारणा मेधा वाग्देवी विधिवल्लभा। भक्तजिह्वाग्रसदना क्षमादिगुणदायिनी। नमामि यामिनी नाथ लेखालङ्कृतकुन्तलाम्। भवानीं भवसन्ताप निर्वापणसुधा नदीम्। भद्रकाल्यै नमो नित्यम् सरस्वत्यै नमो नमः। वेद वेदांग वेदांत विद्यास्थानेभ्य एव च ब्रह्मस्वरूपा परमा ज्योतिरूपा सनातनी। सर्वविद्याधिदेवीया तस्यै वाण्यै नमो नमः। यया विना जगत् सर्वम् शश्वन् जीवन्मृतं भवेत्। ज्ञानाधिदेवी या तस्यै सरस्वत्यै नमो नमः। यया विना जगत् सर्वम् मूकमुन्मत्तवत्सदा। या देवी वागधिष्ठात्री तस्यै वाण्यै नमो नमः। Meaning of this stotram is, Saras means that which flows nicely. So Saraswati, flow of knowledge. And our culture also is based on, was written, the Vedic literature was written on the banks of Saraswati river. Today that river is become as though extinct because of tectonic changes. So it flows right from Kapal Shikhar to Arabian Sea it goes. That's the route of Saraswati river. Passing through Himachal, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, goes into the Arabian Sea. So lot of Vedic references are there for Saraswati river. And it was said it was a river which was more powerful than Ganga also. So at some places it was 20 kilometers wide. Huge river. You can see Saraswati today even in a small way at Mana village, Badrinath. Then it merges with Gangaji, Keshav Prayag is there it mixes. Then we don't see it separately. So Saraswati is, at three levels we worship Saraswati. One as a river, one as a deity of knowledge, and one as the self-knowledge within us. So this shloka, this stotram is about all. One is the deity, one is the knowledge within us as pure consciousness. So that is Sharada Stotram. And interesting is the first line, Namaste Sharade Devi Kashmira Puravasini. Because Sharda Peeth is there in Kashmir. See, it is our land, Hindu land it is. Today we have forgotten so many of those, and then people have occupied it, and then we are willing to say, okay, give it away, how does it matter? It is Hindu land, proper. So, Namaste Sharade Devi, Kashmir Puravasini. I pray to her that please bless me with Vidya Danam Cha Dehi Me, bless me with knowledge. And also, along with knowledge, bless me with Shraddha, faith, Dharana, retention, Medha, intuitive intelligence, Vak, speech, proficiency in speech. Vak Devi Vidhi Vallabha, and she is very dear to Brahmaji. Bhakti Jivagra Sadhana, may she reside on the tongue of the devotees. And bless us with the sixfold qualities, Samadhi Guna Daini. This third shloka, I will find out exact meaning and tell you. I have a little doubt. I will find out and tell you. Fourth one, Bhadrakalya Namo Nityam Saraswatyai Namo Namaha. So she is Bhadrakali, not Ugrakali. So we may create a division in our mind saying Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati are three different. They are different in terms of their manifestations and functions, but they are manifestations of one supreme reality. So here it says Bhadrakali, you are the auspicious Kali who will destroy the negativities within us, who doesn't become angry on us or who doesn't destroy the demons outside, but will destroy negativities and bring about auspiciousness. Bhadrakali Namo Nityam. Saraswati Namo Namaha. Veda Vedanga Vedanta. Vidyasthan. These are called Chaturdasha Vidyan, 14 abodes of knowledge. If you remember the knowledge chart that we did, in that we had covered this. Veda is how many? 4. As books, they are 4. Otherwise, Veda is how many? As knowledge, it is only 1. Ved means to know. That knowledge is classified into 4 books. 4 Vedas, okay? Vedangas are how many? Wow, you remember? 6. Veda, Vedanga. And there are, so what are the Vedangas? No, that is Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva is the 4 Vedas. Vyakarana and Jyotish, correct. 4 more. Shiksha, Kalpa, Nirukta, Chandas, Vyakarana, Jyotish. 6. So 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, they are called the limbs of the Veda, and Upavedas, 4. Which ones? Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, Sthapatya Shastra and Artha Shastra. 14. So these are called 14 abodes of knowledge. And they are the place where Saraswati Devi resides, Vidyasthanebhya evacha. Our culture is based on these 14, Sanatana Dharma. Brahma Swarupa Parama. Now this is the subjective form of Saraswati in us. She is a form of Brahman. Jyoti Rupa, of the form of light, effulgence, consciousness, eternal light. Sarva Vidyadi Deviya. She is the deity of all knowledge. Tasyavanye Namo Namaha. To her we salute. Yaya Vina Jagat Sarvam Shashvan Jivan Mritam Bhavet. This entire world would be inert without her presence. There would not be any life. Jnanadhi Devi Yatasya. To the one who brings illumination, knowledge, effulgence in the world, we salute. Yaya Vina Jagat Sarvam Mukam. It would be dumb. No speech would be there in this world. So Saraswati Devi is not just the deity of human speech. What is it here? Jagat Sarvam Mukam. All the beings, whatever sound they are making, she is the presiding deity of all of them. Mukam Unmattavat Sada. One the whole world would be dumb, would not be able to speak. Ya Devi Vag Adhishthatri, she is the deity of speech. To her we salute. So this is the Sharda Stotram. Next one we will learn one Lakshmi Stotram and one Durga Stotram. So last class in lesson number 12, we did the 6 schools of philosophy, also called as Darshan Shastra. Now, our Hindu culture, Sanatan Dharma, is based on the essential oneness of Jiva, Jagat and Ishwar. That's the main objective of study of the Veda or human life itself. The purpose of human life is to realize that I am not this body, mind, intellect. This is an equipment, but my nature is that consciousness which pervades the whole universe and which is the nature of the Supreme. So Jiva, Jagat and Jagadishwara are one. They are not 3 different things. That's the goal of evolution itself. And so the Vedic knowledge is such, it is divided in such a way that first part of the Veda is Karmakand, second is Upasana, and last is the Jnanakand. In the Karmakand, it is how to do actions, how to do rituals, rites, etc. to fulfill human desires. Because one has desires, one wants to enjoy, one wants to have prosperity, name, fame, progeny, all that. So how to fulfill desire, that is the first part of the Veda, Karmakand. As one keeps fulfilling the desire, one exhausts quite a bit of one's own Rajoguna. The mind becomes little quieter. Then a person wants to make the mind single pointed, because the more the desires are there, the more the mind is divided. And one understands that along with pleasure, there's a lot of stress, worry, tension, all that also which comes. So one wants to make the mind quieter because one understands that quieter mind is a happier mind. So the second part is the upasana. Make the mind single pointed. So use a support system. It can be name of the Lord, it can be any form, it can be visualization, it can be chakra, it can be any symbol in the nature. Something holding on to which we make the mind quiet, leaving all the other thoughts and disturbances. That is the upasana part. Such a mind which has fulfilled desires, which has made itself quiet, has understood that no matter what I do in this world, I can only get temporary happiness. I cannot experience fulfillment. One who has understood that much well, that externally I have tried a lot of things, that person turns within. That person wants to know what is that state of fulfillment, gaining which nothing more remains to be gained. And that person goes to the teacher to understand that what is this happiness, fulfillment that one seeks. How will I discover it? Outside it is not available. One has tried everything. In fact, outside one gets beaten up badly. Exhausted, fatigued, tired. Because the world is like that. Competitive world it is. Plus, trust factor is not there. Manipulation is there. So many things happen in the world. The seeker is not escaping from it, but has understood its nature. This is how it is. Where will we escape and go? Wherever we go, this is going to be there. So the idea is not to escape, but the idea is that what I am seeking is not there outside. Let me explore within. One goes to the teacher, seeks this knowledge. That please tell me what is bondage, what is liberation, how do I realize the self, What is Atma? What is Anatma? All these doubts one has, because some satsang one would have come to. God's grace, some satsang would have come to one's life. Some introspection one would have done. And so one goes to the teacher, asks for this knowledge. Vedanta is that part, the last part of the Veda. See, again, this division of beginning is Karma Kand, middle is Upasana, last is Vedanta, is a broad general division. Not that it is watertight compartments. So the last part of the Veda is called Vedanta. And this Vedanta is to realize this sense of oneness, the idea, the vision of oneness, to break away these boundaries which the ego creates. Because as long as I operate out of the ego, so long I am different, world is different, God is different. And then I am constantly having to fight against the world, prove myself. I am under stress, worries, tensions. Then I have fear of God also. I don't know who is this God. All this is because the ego remains separate, individual. Vedanta is to tell us that you are not this ego. This knowledge of Vedanta is what we see revealed in the four Mahavakyas. They are called the four great statements. Mahavakyas are many. Any statement which essentially reveals the oneness of the individual with the Supreme is called as a Mahavakya. So there are many Mahavakyas. Every Upanishad will have a Mahavakya. But out of them, four are considered main. One from each Veda. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. One Mahavakya from each Veda is taken, and these four are called as the four Mahavakyas. And these are revealed in the Upanishads. Each one in one Upanishad. So there are three main books of Sanatana Dharma. They are called as Prasthana Traya. One is the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutra. Second is the Upanishads. Third is the Bhagavad Gita. They are called Prasthana Traya. Prasthan means actually to start the journey. Traya means three. That which helps us to start the journey and reach the destination. These are called Prasthana Traya. So the Upanishads are the highest knowledge of the self. The oneness of Jiva Jagat Ishvara revealed in the Upanishads. That knowledge of the self is very subtle, because we are talking of something that transcends body, mind and intellect, all the three. So many times the language of contradictions is also used in the Upanishads. So the Brahma Sutras are to clarify these contradictions. And also the entire science of Vedanta is written in the form of aphorisms. Upanishads has a lot of mantras. But the sutras, Brahma Sutra is an aphorism. Like we have formulae. Like the entire theory of relativity is there in the formula. E is equal to mc square. Now very easy to remember, E is equal to mc square. And then you remember the whole theory through the formula. Or like we have Gayatri Mantra. So mantra is small, but it has a lot of deeper meaning embedded inside it. Short sutras are there. Like Patanjali has given Yoga Sutras. For Bhakti, we have Narad Bhakti Sutras. For Karma, we have Jaimini's Karma Sutras. Like that, for Vedanta, we have Brahma Sutra. So in short aphorisms, the whole science is given. So Brahma Sutra is aphorisms of Vedanta. Upanishads are the mantras revealed in the Vedas. Brahma Sutra is written by Bhagavan Vedavyasa. Now both these are subtle, not easy to study and understand. But the essence of both these is the Bhagavad Gita. That's why we say that Gita is the essence of the Upanishadic knowledge. Brahma Sutra and the Upanishads are studied by highly qualified students, taught by a teacher also who is an expert, who is well established. But Bhagavad Gita can be studied by common people, applicable in day-to-day life, in the struggles and strife of day-to-day life, because it's given in the battlefield. So these three are the main books of Vedanta. And the essence of these three, as I said, is to realize that Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara are one. And this is revealed through the Mahavakya. So each each Veda has one Mahavakya. Actually, if you see, the study of the entire Veda is to prepare oneself to understand the import of this Mahavakya. So what are these four Mahavakyas? The first Mahavakya is from the Rig Veda, and the Rig Veda's Mahavakya is from Aitareya Upanishad. It is called Prajnanam Brahma. You see in your course material on page 6, it is there. Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness is Brahman. So what does this mean? Consciousness is Brahman. Consciousness, Prajnanam, is the self within us that illumines the body, mind, intellect. That self is Brahman. Brahman is that which is the biggest. That consciousness which enlivens the whole universe, that is called Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma means that the consciousness pervades this entire universe. The consciousness in me is the consciousness that pervades the whole universe. See, generally we always think the universe is inert. What does science also want to explore? From where the world came, if you think about it, from where the world came, what comes to your mind? Atom, particle, Big Bang, is all inert matter. Maximum one will say energy, but energy is also inert. Traditional physics will only say energy or matter. There are only two options. So the whole world came from inert things. Then from where sentiency came? From where life came? There is a certain combination of energy and matter gives life. See, that may give vital energy, not life, consciousness. Consciousness is not created, consciousness doesn't change, consciousness cannot be destroyed. So no matter what combination of matter and energy we produce, it may give subtler energy, subtler matter, or pranic energy, life force, what we call as vitality, vital force. That may be possible. But it is not possible to produce consciousness. That enlivening factor cannot be produced. So today that's why physics has branched out into quantum physics, where the quantum physicists say very clearly that consciousness is the basis of this whole universe. If you see the founders of quantum physics, Heisenberg, he said about this, the ultimate is consciousness. Nothing transcends consciousness. I will send you that quote, a very nice quote of Heisenberg about consciousness. So consciousness pervades the whole creation. The first Mahavakya is to tell us that. And the example given here is of the electricity, like this projector or the AC or this bulb. All of them are different equipment. Mic. So mic will amplify the sound, AC will cool the air, bulb will give the light. The functionality of each one is different, but what enlivens each of them is one. That is electricity. What is that which enlivens the whole creation? All the 84 lakh species which are there in this whole creation, plus the inert things in the creation. All of them are enlivened by what? There is one consciousness. That's the Vedic revelation here. So that is the first Mahavakya, to say that in the plurality, in the world of plurality, I am seeing so many different things, different beings, different species. And please remember, when we say the world, it does not mean only this world outside here, what you and I experience. There are subtler worlds also. 14 worlds we believe. This is Bhuloka. Then Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. 7 up and 7 down. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patal. 7. 14 worlds. These 14 worlds are constituting one Brahmanda. Like that, there are many Brahmandas. You see, Bhagavan is called what? Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayaka. And it is said that just like every pore of human body, one hair is come out, no, one pore. Like that, how many pores are there in human body? It's countless, so many are there. Like that, in each pore of Bhagavan's body is one Brahmanda. And Bhagavan is the Nayak of all the Brahmandas. And who is that Bhagavan? You. Essentially, that is our nature. We have forgotten that part and we have identified with one little body in this one small Brahmanda. Out of crores of jivas who are there, billions and countless of jivas, I am identifying with one jiva, forgetting my infinite nature. Think about that. So, Vedanta is trying to make us aware that you see the oneness in the entire creation. That culture which sees oneness in the whole creation, will it exploit people? Will it exploit the environment? Will it destroy the environment? No, it will be most eco-friendly, most compassionate, most accommodative, most loving, kind. That is the culture. Because we don't see the world as a threat to us. We see the world as the expression of the divine, so we worship everything in the world. And hence it is that the first Mahavakya is Prajnanam Brahma, which means consciousness is that which is enlivening me, and consciousness is enlivening the whole universe. And there's only one consciousness. So essentially you and I are all one. Which is what we do when we say Namaste. What does a Namaste mean? Consciousness in you and the consciousness in me are one and the same. So I salute the divine in you. That's what it means. It's such a beautiful greeting. That at body, mind, intellect level, we all are different from each other. Physically, size, shape, color, everything different. Emotionally, we are different. Intellectually, we are different. But consciousness is one in all of us. That consciousness is our true nature. So, I salute the divine in you. That is Namaste. So, Prajnanam Brahma. I'll just show you one very nice video. Gurudev's video is there. On. No, first I will show you a video of मेरा बैग जरा दो. One African pastor. What is the temperature of that AC? It's warm. I know. What is the temperature? Okay. That's what I was asking, whether this is cards or not. So one African pastor, he is teaching his youngsters there to say namaste. A very interesting video. How he knows the significance of this namaste and he's so fascinated by that, and in a church he's teaching them that say namaste. Very interesting it is.
Namaste. And you write this down because this is something we're going to be using every Sunday from now on. In men, I need you to get it. Ladies, I want you to get it, but especially I want my men and boys to get it. Namaste. That's a Hindu term. Namaste. Say that. Say it again. Namaste, Jerome, means the divinity within me salutes the divinity within you. Y'all missed it. Namaste means the divinity within me salutes the divinity within you. The fact this simply means I recognize that Bobby has some God in him. See, many of our boys don't have any respect for life. That's why it's so easy to kill them. So when I realize that Bobby got some God in him, just as I have some God in me, that will make me respect him not only physically, but I respect what I say about Bobby. We have not been taught to respect one another, so I need you to say it again. Namaste. Say it again. Namaste. The divinity within me salutes the divinity. Any teaching going on here today? And maybe that's why we have been mistreating one another for much too long. I want us to start today to say that word over and over. I want men and women, young and old, to start greeting one another instead of saying, what's happening? Young folk, when you greet somebody, namaste. Say it, namaste. Say it again. Namaste. What does that mean? That's what that means. So, what's happening, bro? Because that ain't kept our boys from killing one another. They've been saying it for a long time. What's happening, bruh?
What's happening, bro? These guys are saying namaste and our kids are saying, what's up, bro? What's up, dude? पता नहीं. उल्टा ही चल रहा है पूरा. Other people recognize the glory of our culture. You just see simple namaste, you know, how they understood. That's what our culture meant for. You see, Gurudev's thing also is very good on namaste. What he spoke about namaste, you see. I don't know, did I show you this? No? Take it lightly, okay?
That's the future of father. That's the future of mother. That's the future of uncle. Namaskar karo. Why? It's a culture from childhood onwards. Every father and mother makes the child understand. Doctor, do namaskar. It's become a part and parcel of our culture. Why should I tell the future there? What is the future? What will you do? I will shake hands. Every culture has got its own symbols. In the Western world, to come with both hands open. Hi, great, you have come. I am so glad. This is their method because of historicity. In the days of Anglo-Saxon and earlier also. In the Western world, You can make the other only with the idea of killing. Open friendship was unknown to them. Barbarous people. Therefore, when I really want to express to you that I am coming friendly, I have no intention of it, I come before the head. No weapons in my hand. Even though no weapon, you don't believe. Maybe I have kept something in my hand. So I give you my hand to check out. When I check up your hand. And even when you got a feeling, maybe something inside. Something like nowadays in the airport, wherever you go, there's a man there who embraces you. You really want to go and I was feeling very ashamed. Another man is loving me so much. Touching and touching every part of me. Now only I know that you are touching that I have got some gun or something. Now the Guru is not the vision. You may not carry in the hand, you may not keep it in the sleeve, it may be behind. Therefore they embrace and both of them do. Cheating is not necessary. What? We never had such a death. In the spiritual culture, love is a core, only emotion that we had towards others. Therefore, when I met you, I said, Namaste. I will not touch you, I will not shake you. Namaste. Namaste means what? The spark of life in you. And the spark of life in you. These two spiritual essences one in the same. And there is one Almighty Lord, my name is God. You may be a cheat. You may be living a low, vicious, sensuous life. It doesn't matter. However wonderful you may be, that spark of life in you. You are alive. You have touch of life. That spark of life in you is divine. So that you will remember that. I also remember that in a sense we both are one and the same, that divine Lord expressing through His goodness. With that lifted mind, lifted in that devotion to that higher reality, we transact the business. When I love my Father or admire and respect anyone, I admire and respect for one value or the other in which he is standing rooted. I'm not respecting him because he has got a physical body, because I have also a body. I'm not respecting him because of his emotions, because I have also emotions. I'm not respecting him because of his intelligence, because I also have an intelligence. So what am I respecting him for? Some value or the other in which he is standing rooted. My Father, but for his love and unrestricted service to me, I would not have been what I am. I admire him because I admire his idea that he has lived. He stood rooted in that idea. Therefore I respect not his head, but I touch his feet in order to contact that ideal that he stands for.
Namaste. Yeah, you write this down because
So this is the practical implication of this Mahavakya. That consciousness in me is the consciousness that pervades the whole universe. So that is Prajnanam Brahma. Then the second Mahavakya is from Chandogya Upanishad in Samaveda. And that is the most famous Mahavakya, which is Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi means that thou art. Tat means the consciousness in the Supreme Creator. Tvam means the consciousness in me, the individual. Asi means one. You see, the first one said consciousness in me and the consciousness in the whole universe is one. Second one says consciousness in me and the consciousness in the Supreme Creator is one. So we may think ourselves as different from the Lord, and definitely from the body standpoint, we are different from the Lord. From the mind standpoint also, we are a part, God is the whole. But from essential consciousness standpoint, God and I are one. How to understand that? So the example is the wave and the ocean. The wave and the ocean are essentially different from the standpoint of the form. Wave has a limited form, ocean is unlimited. That is called duality, Dvaita. We can also say that the wave and the ocean, are they entirely different? No, every wave is a part of the ocean. So we say that each of us, from the standpoint of the mind, we are a part of the whole. If we are the part, God is the whole. But that same example of ocean and wave, if you see from water standpoint, the water in the wave and the water in the ocean is same. There is no difference. And it is only water actually, one water which is appearing as the waves, appearing as the ocean, appearing as the foam, bubble, lather, everything is only one water. Same way, one truth, one consciousness pervades this whole universe, including this body, mind, intellect, everything. So that consciousness in me and the consciousness in the Creator is one. Tattvam Asi. So we think of ourselves as this body, but Vedanta says you are not this body, you are that. So that is the second Mahavakya. Tattvamasi. And you know, this Tattvamasi is taught to a youngster, Shvetaketu. He was sent to Gurukul to study, and when he came back, from the way he came back, the father Uddala Krishi, he understood that this boy has not understood the truth. With that arrogance, he came back. So when he came, the father asked him that, did you learn the truth? And Shvetaketu replied, if my teacher knew it, he would have taught me. So Uddala Krishi asked him, the father asked him, did you ask for it? Because this truth is not given just like that. You must ask for it. You are not qualified for it. You did not know its existence. You didn't ask for it. And now you are saying that if my teacher knew, he would have taught. Shvetaketu understood what a blunder I made. Then he surrendered, he became humble, and he asked his father, please teach me. And 9 experiments the father does, which are very common day-to-day experiments. Like a simple thing, he takes a banyan seed and he shows him, and he says, what is this? It is banyan seed. So he says, what is there inside it? He said, the whole banyan tree is inside it. They say, just like this small seed, the entire banyan tree is inside this. In the same way, the absolute truth is inside you. Then he takes salt and he mixes that in a glass of water. And he says, take the water from the top, drink it. How is it? He says, salty. Take it from the middle of the glass. How is it? Salty. Take it from the bottom of the glass. How is it salty? Just like the salt pervades this entire glass of water, consciousness pervades the entire universe, and you are that. Like that, he does 9 experiments. So this is how they taught also in those days, was not the bookish learning. Through practical experiments, demonstrations, all that. So Tattvamasi, very beautiful one. Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter it comes. Then the third Mahavakya is I am Atma Brahma. This Atma is that Brahman. One meditates on that. I am means this. Idam means that. Whatever we can call as this is closer. Whatever we call as that is far. So we say this book, that chair. Why? Because the book is closer. Or we say this chair, that door. Because this chair is closer, that door is further. Same way, I am Atma Brahma, meaning this Atma. What is the closest to me? Today I think I am this body. So I think body is closest to me. But actually the body is the furthest. That's strange. When I came to understand Vedanta, it was very... Because till we come to Vedanta, we think I am this body only. My identity is this body. Everything else is that because of the proximity. I think I am the body. So everything else is that. But actually body is that. Why? Because closer to the body, this body is made up of only 5 elements. Subtler than the body is the prana that pervades. Subtler than prana is the emotions. Subtler than emotions is the thoughts. Subtler than the thoughts are the pleasure, the Anandamaya kosha. And subtlest of all is the Atma. The closest is the Atma. That's why we say this body, this mind, this intellect, meaning they are also objects only. It is not I. I is only Atma, consciousness. So I am Atma. Everything else is further than the Atma. So it's actually called Idam, this. So compared to the Atma, the body also is further. But when my identity is this body, then I think I am this body, then the objects become that. But actually body also is an object only of my awareness. So I am Atma. And what is that of consciousness in me? Is the consciousness in me and consciousness in you different? No, it is one. Why it cannot be different? Because if it is different, it becomes perishable. It is limited. There's only one Atma. So I am Atma, Brahma. The Atma in me is Brahman. And then the last Mahavakya. So this Mahavakya, I am Atma, Brahma, is in the Mandukya Upanishad in the Atharva Veda. And the last one is Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Brahman. And this Aham Brahma Asmi is in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in Yajur Veda. Now the Aham Brahmasmi means Aham is not this small I, not this body, but pure consciousness. Today our Aham is connected with the body. When we say I, what do we mean? We mean the body. Or sometimes we mean the mind. But the word Aham here is not the body. Aham here means the consciousness. Because the true meaning of the word Aham is that Atma is consciousness. That in which the thoughts rise, stay and go back, that consciousness is actual meaning of I, Aham. And so, Aham Brahmasmi meaning that consciousness is that Brahman. Today, this word Aham Brahmasmi is used in such a terrible way. The highest knowledge this is, and the realization of a student is this Aham Brahmasmi. After many, many lives of evolution and so much struggle, one comes to realize this pure consciousness, and this is what one realizes, Aham Brahmasmi. And we Hindus only misuse this so badly, which is the highest statement to be used, which is the experience of the master of realization. You see that sacred games too which came, in that they greet each other, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. And they all are rogues, thugs, cheats, looters, murderers, Aham Brahmasmi. Ashram they are in. They're terrible. Our own culture's dignity, if we don't maintain, who else will maintain? Are there nothing else that in any place, if you think about it, where this kind of activities are happening, even if that is happening, does that need to be promoted and shown? That needs to be condemned, no? Even if there is some ashram or any other spiritual place where such wrong activities are happening, then those wrong activities have to be condemned. And whatever law has to do has to be done legally. But should we show that in this way? That Aham Brahmasmi is the greeting that they use to greet each other, and they are out to destroy the world. In the name of saving the world, they are out to destroy the world. Where is this knowledge which is there to recognize the essential oneness of every being? And where is that where you are trying to destroy the whole world for your own greed and power, thinking that you are trying to save the world? It's all perverted approach, putting down our own culture. So we have to be very aware about that. Our culture, we should be the people who are proud to present that culture and its glory to the world, not pull it down in front of others. So Aham Brahmasmi. So 4 Mahavakyas. Now these 4 Mahavakyas have a beautiful connection also. First Mahavakya, see, each Mahavakya is enough to realize the truth. We don't need 4. One Mahavakya is enough to realize the absolute truth. But each of them are taken from one Veda. So we should be aware of each of these. So the connection also is very nice. Just as a memory aid, the first Mahavakya, Prajnanam Brahma, is called the statement of declaration, is Adesha Vakya. That consciousness is Brahman. So somebody may say, okay, there is some consciousness that is Brahman. The second Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, is called Upadesha Vakya. Kare, that is you, Tattvamasi. Not some consciousness is Brahman. That consciousness is you, Tattvamasi. The Guru tells that to the disciple, Tattvamasi. Then the third Mahavakya is called Anusandhan Vakya, or what they have given here is Abhyasa Vakya. Anusandhan means to contemplate, Abhyas means to practice. So one who steadily practices, what should that person practice? I am Atma Brahma, this Atma is Brahman. And the fourth Mahavakya is Aham Brahmasmi, is the Anubhava Vakya. That student realizes, I am Brahman. So this is how these 4 Mahavakyas are there, and Gurudev made this story that how a disciple goes to the teacher and the teacher says consciousness is Brahman. So disciple thinks, okay, there is one consciousness as Brahman. Then he says, no, you are that Tattvamasi. And then the student goes to contemplate, I am Atma Brahma. And then when the student realizes, what the student realizes, Aham Brahma Asmi. Now these 4 Mahavakyas. These 4 Mahavakyas give us the essence of Vedanta. But how do I come to the essence? Will everybody have to contemplate on these 4 Mahavakyas only and realize the truth? That is one path. In our culture, based on the temperaments of people, there are different paths. So 4 yogas are given. So these Mahavakyas is the philosophy, the essence of Vedic philosophy is these Mahavakyas. How to live that is the way of life. You see, Gurudev has given this. The view of life is philosophy and religion is the way of life. That is the next part of this chapter. Page 8. So religion and philosophy have to go together. Gurudev has said here very nicely that religion divorced from philosophy becomes a bundle of superstition. Religion is the science of evolution. And philosophy without religion is utopian myth. If only philosophy is there, we don't know how to apply in the way of life, it's only imagination. And if we are practicing some religion without knowing what is the philosophy behind it, it is only superstition. So this philosophy of 4 Mahavakyas, how will I experience in my daily life? So I have to recognize my temperament first. Based on the 4, based on this temperament, there are 4 yogas. How are there 4 yogas? Because each of us is a combination of head, heart and hands. So those people who are very, very heart oriented. See, head, heart, hand is there in everyone, okay? But those in whom which is predominant, in one whom heart is predominant, that person uses the path of bhakti, emotions. So an altar of surrender is there, Bhagwan is there, I surrender my ego to the Lord. Because ultimately the philosophy is what? I am not the ego, I am pure consciousness. That ego has to be surrendered. That's the basic crux. How to surrender that ego? 4 paths are there, based on the temperament. So one who is emotional oriented, for that person is the path of devotion. Build a relationship with the Lord, cultivate a attitude towards the Lord in that relationship. So Bhagwan can be my friend, my beloved, my father, my mother, any relationship. I am the servant, Bhagwan is the master. So one form of the Lord, one relationship, channelize the emotions through that. Surrender the ego. Because in love, the ego will just drop, it will melt away. So that's the path of devotion. Somebody may say, no, I am not devotion oriented. I am logic oriented. Not karma yoga. Logic is intellect, jnana yoga. So I have to use my logic, give me analysis, give me logical reasoning, why this is like this, why I am saying that I am not this body, I am mind, intellect, why I am Brahman, how the world is an illusion. Because they need more reasoning, logic. See, again I am saying, the person who has logic doesn't mean doesn't have heart. Even person who uses logic will have some feelings. But predominantly that person wants explanations, reasoning. And so that path is the path of intellect, which is Jnana Yoga. So there one inquires, contemplates, listen, reflect, contemplate. That's the path, Shravan, Manan, Nidhi, Dhyasa. Then there is somebody who is more hand oriented, so more dynamic, active. You tell that person to sit, do meditation, contemplation, follow the path of Jnana Marg, not possible. Bhakti also may be difficult for that person because the person is more dynamic, has to act, do something in the world. So then a person is told, yes, do action, dedicated to a higher cause. Do it for the country, do it for culture, do it for community, do it for the field in which you have chosen. And as the person starts doing, ultimately one says, do it for the Lord. Because Bhagavan put you here in this role. So through the path of action, then you realize the self. So head, heart and hands. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Then what is the fourth path? The fourth path is the path of the will, determination and willpower, which is Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is the path of using our willpower to train the body, the pranas, the mind to align with each other. So through the Ashtanga Yoga methods, Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. One trains the body, one controls the prana, one withdraws the mind, and then ultimately experiences the self in Samadhi. Now all the four paths are according to the temperament of each individual, but please remember they are not four exclusive paths. They are predominant paths. A person who is a Raja Yogi also has action to do, also has Ishwar Pranidhan in that, also has knowledge in that. Same way, person who is following Karma Yoga also has devotion to the ideal, has the knowledge of that ideal, and will control the body, mind and the senses to focus on the ideal. Same way, Bhakti also has Jnana. Can I love something about which I don't know anything? I can't love. I need to know. So who is this God? What is his name? What is his dham? What is his form? What does he do? I have to know. So Bhakti also has Jnana. Bhakti also has karma. Because when I love someone, then I want to do something for them. So I may do puja, japa, bhajan, upvas, yatra, or even seva in the world. Because Manav seva is Madhav seva. So karma is there in that, bhakti is there, jnana is there. In the same way, jnana marg, guru seva is done, Ishwar bhakti is done. So none of the paths are exclusive of the other. But the path we choose has to be based on our temperament predominantly. Because through that path, ego will surrender. And ultimately, the last part of each path is the same. And what is that last path? Is to withdraw from this false identification and to realize that my nature is that pure consciousness, which is done through contemplation and meditation. So the final culmination of all the four paths will come to one point, which is through meditation one will realize. So the highest in yoga is samadhi, highest in jnana also is samadhi, highest in bhakti also is samadhi, and highest in karma yoga ultimately will be also through samadhi only. That karma yoga prepares me for samadhi and one realizes the truth. So all the four paths are paths which are leading us to the same goal. All the four paths are not exclusive of each other, but each of these are having their own steps, which we choose according to our temperament. So that is lesson number 12. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.